I was walking across the store. You can't really see him because of my bad background. I'm sorry for that. But he's big. He's huge. He's huge unicorn. And I was walking through the store, and I was like, how did he become the unicorn? Are they born that way? Was he something else before he became a unicorn? And that's what I decided. I should just go and ask people about that. You little guys sit here and listen and don't tell them what's your story. But so I invited four amazing people, four experts in a DevOps space and in IT in general with very interesting histories to help me to figure this out. How do you become a unicorn? How does the horse become the unicorn? Who do we have today? I'll ask each of you to give a very short intro about yourself. But we do have, let's start with a little wave. We have Andrei Savchenko. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hi there.
Sound check is good. We have Gunda Gadekina. Hello.
Hello.
All right. We have Dmitry Bazdian.
Hi.
And we have Anton Kranga.
Hi there.
All right, great. Sound check, video check, good. So let's spend a little time on making sure you are no lost horses among unicorns. What is your story? Just in a few sentences. What is that? What you do? What's your related experience to DevOps, to cloud, and what company you come from? Is it a horse? Is it a unicorn? What do you think? Sorry, Cosman, people on the background, if you could mute yourself, that would be great. Thank you. Okay, Dmitry, let's start with you.
I didn't want to go first. So first of all, the announcement is that you wonder how these panel discussions are prepared, so everyone has a script to read and so on. Not this one, no, because no one knows what we are going to discuss today. So the only type of preparation was to find an appropriate background for a DevOps conference. I think I did it. So yeah, so my experience with DevOps, okay. So my first experience with DevOps was 15 years ago when I was setting up a CI server using Bash scripts and a custom Ruby on Rails application to serve as a monitor. Because back then there was no tools, like no tools. And this CI job was building a financial application once a day and was running automated tests. And I did it because I read it in a book, which was quite recent at that time, a book about extreme programming and agile technical practices. And since then, it's my standard way of working, and nothing really changed in 15 years, except you have a lot of tools and you have cloud. And sometimes, maybe a few years ago, the perception was, oh, cloud is just someone else's computer, someone else's server, which you don't control, but you have to pay them. It's true, but I think that nowadays what changed that cloud is not only someone else's hardware, but it's also a technology. And it's a technology which nowadays is standardized more or less. So if we talk about cloud native architecture, it's not such a buzzword today, but rather a set of more or less standard technologies which you can progress in, learn, certify yourself for a small amount of money, and prosper, like, I don't know, and be a professional in this field. And speaking about what I do right now, we have a IT consultancy company called Aheads Consulting. We specialize in Java and DevOps fields. So we help our customers to migrate to cloud and run a very secure workloads on the cloud, which you would also be able to certify as being as secure as a physical data center. And in addition to that, we are investing in a startup called BankLaunch.io, which is built using cloud native technologies as well. So that's my relation to DevOps, and as a person who invests directly into development and DevOps, I'm very interested in getting as much return on investment from the time you spend. So we are not the type of company which would make some proof of concept just for the sake of it, or integrated technology which costs more than it actually brings you. But still, I think DevOps is very important and very viable.
Okay, thanks, great. All right, who's gonna go next? Okay. I see that Anton is ready.
Yeah, I think you have to point with the finger, like, because no one will go first. Yeah, we are in the Baltic states, so we don't want to go first. Yes, yeah, definitely no, not in the Nordics. So yeah, my story. I was listening to Dmitry, and I was thinking, what is unicorn, right? So I guess in the DevOps conference we should name the DevOps as the unicorn, and from that perspective, I will start my story from the Java. I was doing a lot of Java development, I think, till 2009, and then we have started to do a lot of code generation stuff because we wanted to make dev people more productive, and code generation sounds like a reasonable approach, and we became pretty good in the code generation until we generated everything from the application code. And then we start to think, okay, what else can we generate? So the infrastructure came as the natural choice, what we have to generate. And
it's disturbing, right? Others,
I'm sorry.
It's, I'm sorry. We have a technical glitch here.
Can we
people
mute
in
them?
the backstage somehow. I can't mute them. People in the backstage, please go away from the microphone.
I would ask some help from the moderators. Yes, yeah. Otherwise, but it's good to understand that not only have the voices in the mind, in the head. Anyway, so we started to generate code, and we started to generate infrastructure as code, and do a lot of experiments with the cutting edge technologies. At that point, that was Chef and Puppet, and since that I said, wow, this actually looks a cool, unpopulated area of infrastructure engineering. So there is, if I want to do something meaningful with my career, it probably will be in the infrastructure. So I moved from Java into this area of the infrastructure that we now call DevOps, I think, and never left. Around 2016, we decided, okay, we've got quite a bit of experience of doing DevOps stuff and lots of automation. So maybe it's a good time to start the new company. And 2016 was a good time to start do everything around Docker and everything around Kubernetes. So we called this train, and yeah, just moved there, And since now, we are doing a DevOps company in the automation field, which is primarily specialized in the Kubernetes and all around of automation space. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Gundaga?
Yeah, for me, unicorn, the first association with unicorn is actually comes from my experience in working at a startup at Silicon Valley, because unicorn there means a company that is valued at around 1 billion or over $1 billion. A startup, so pre-IPO and a fairly young company. And that is called because these are extremely rare and everybody is looking for them. So it is kind of like DevOps specialists in a way, because they are fairly rare, because it requires a skill set in kind of very different areas and willingness to learn and constantly learn and get up to the newest technologies, even when you are like, well, I'm now fairly comfortable with what's happening now, and then something new comes out that is clearly better. So you just have to kind of start from a new sometimes. But yeah, first I started as a Linux sysadmin, very standard job, and I was very much on the ops side of DevOps back then, and I saw firsthand all the problems that stem from both the technology point of view of not having good deployment pipelines and idea of how to do it, and from the culture side, when you have these distinct populations of developers who are have this attitude of, well, it works on my machine, so if it doesn't work on production, it is clearly your problem, and I don't care about it. And being on the ops side, it's like, well, we just got everything stable, and then the developers come and like everything changes again. And the other side, the reason why I'm so excited about non-mutable infrastructure is that, you know, if you give a developer SSH access to a server, and then out of 4 web servers they change one, and then you just spend hours and hours trying to figure out what is wrong and why this one backend doesn't work like it should. So yeah, this my excitement for DevOps comes from experience of like stepping on a lot of problems myself. And now, after my brief, well, not so brief, like 5 years work at a Silicon Valley startup, now I'm back in Latvia working at Accenture, specifically under all this guidance in DevOps specialty track.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. And Andrei?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I started my career in IT about 18 years ago. And yeah, similar to Gundaga, I've started as IT administrator or IT support guy who helped users to configure computers back then. And yeah, there I spent quite a few years, several years actually. And then, yeah, about 11 years ago, I joined Cityco, where I'm still working in. And that time, my career in software configuration management, and after that in DevOps area began. And yeah, actually in Cityco back then, in 11 years ago, we provided we were a department. Actually, few of you know that, and we helped projects to configure application servers, to configure databases, to create Maven scripts, and that time we thought that it's the best way to help projects to make them unified, to make them similar. It's to have separate department who provides this all this stuff, including CI/CD process, all this. Yeah, and in the last, I believe, 5 years in CTCO, we made a big shift to DevOps culture, and now every project configure all pipelines, all cloud applications by themselves, and if they need, they do have DevOps engineers inside, if it's a big project. Yeah. So I grew in CTCO from just a regular engineer up to manager or team lead, and then manager, and now I manage a team of like 10 plus DevOps engineers inside one of the biggest projects in CTCO. And we do configure cloud, we do configure application service, we do configure on-prem cloud, we do configure Azure Kubernetes services for project needs, but all stuff like this not a problem on my machine comes on developer's side now, not on our side. And all the configuration of application now, it's their headache, not ours. But for sure, we support them and help in case of need, but all build processes not nowadays is not on separate team shoulders, but on whole team as a project shoulders. So
yeah.
and about unicorns, I just thought thought about ideas that Gundiga said about unicorns, and they're unique. But for me, unicorns associates as well with like toys, like Aldous have shown us. And actually, my younger daughter has about 20 unicorns already at home. All her room is with unicorns, and they're enough. They're enough in shops. There a lot of unicorns available, but they're not. But it's not enough for her. She wants more. And the same, I look at our projects like Accenture, CTCO. Yeah, we have a lot of DevOps engineers already, unicorns, but we need more. Every day we need more and more people who support projects and configure all this infrastructure, all those CI/CD processes, and helps assist projects in this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Of course, unicorn is just an analogy, and it can be a person, it can be a project, it can be a team, it can be a company, it can be even a country. Maybe it's just an analogy. I'm looking for one response. The first one who raises a hand gives an answer, but let's focus right now on something a bit more realistic and still keep analogy in mind. So let's try to talk about mid-sized team. Let's try to talk about one two pizza team, as people like to say. So some around 7 people plus minus 2, but something like that. And if you need to go in and talk with a team and make basically a decision, is this a horse or is this a unicorn? What are the things you look for? How do you identify kind of what is typical to the horse? What is typical to the unicorn? What's your version? What are those differences? Okay, Dmitry is first. Go.
Yeah, I won. So, okay, so you're asking about analogies, right? And it shouldn't be about DevOps. So for me, a horse is a working horse, right? So it works all day, and you could expect some results and so on. But unicorn is something everyone wants to achieve, and like Gundaga said, it's mostly about financing and about how you put investment into company to over-evaluate it, so you could sell it, and then whatever happens, it's not your problem. Yeah, so I would pick horse actually, because I have more chances to get some value out of that and do work. Yeah, because I can give you maybe one example from the real world. In most of the projects in my career, I was always trying to strive for more automation and more, more improvements, newer technologies. But right now we have one of the projects where it feels that it's okay. Everything is automated, everything works. And the decision, for example, to migrate to something new, it's not justified. You don't have to do it because it works and business is happy. And developers are also more or less happy because tests, deployments, everything is in place. And that's for me a horse.
Okay, yeah, that's a new type of horse in a way. But this is a very nice example where maybe they it depends from which side do you look. From one side they all are horses. But then so many teams, many projects, many companies have tried to become a unicorn. They see themselves as a horse, or maybe someone else calls them a horse, and eventually it kind of happens with everyone after some time. But what are your 3 suggestions? And that's a question to all of you. Each of you, please think about that. What are your 3 questions? What you would suggest to a team or to the company or to the project, what feels closer to you? How do you become, how do you grow from the horse to the unicorn? Or as per Dmitri's example, to that nice horse, which doesn't need to change, maybe that also could be a way. I'll pick the Andrei first, out from the blue. What are 3 things you would suggest to someone? How do you become from the horse to a unicorn?
Yeah. For me, horse, it's the animal that you just sit and you ride it, or I don't know in English, пашешь в поле. Yeah, so it's the animal that working hard. Yeah, and unicorn is such a nice unique animal that all people like, and maybe not all, but most people like, and you cannot ride it actually. Yeah, you want to see it, to view it, and to enjoy the view of this unicorn. Yeah, and but actually I'm not sure in real life if real people or projects, I mean unicorns, are not working hard. They are unique, but they do work hard as well as regular horses. So to become, for example, to project become from horse to unicorn, you need to do some interesting stuff that is unique to a world. And if you're talking about some startups, for example, yeah, they could be unicorns because they provide some interesting stuff. If you're looking at teams, you could be unicorn inside your company because you adopt some new technology or you adopt some new approach. If you're looking to a people level, yeah, then you can become from a horse to unicorn, and what means that you will be not the employee, but you have the profession that is highly demanded on the market now. For example, that is related to DevOps engineers currently. This position is highly demanded on the market. And yeah, if you switch, for example, from QA engineer or IT administrator to DevOps engineer, yeah, it could take some time to you. It could take maybe some years. Yeah, actually depends on you how big background you have. But yeah, you can become a unicorn in this area at least.
Okay, thanks. Let's go next with Anton.
Okay, thank you.
Could I remind the question? Kind of simple question. How do you become from the horse to become a unicorn? You pick your play field. Is it a team? Is it a company? Is it a person?
Right, in three steps. So I'd like to address this, reiterate what has been previously said, and address this from the three perspective. And I like what Gundega said about Silicon Valley companies. So right now I'm working in one of these, and from that perspective, I would say that there are three perspectives which will approximately have the same answer. The perspective number one, you can be unicorn if you building the unicorn product, right? This is like by the book. You start the new product, technology, whatever you build it. Once you will find the product and market fit. So the moment when you've built enough technology, so people will say, okay, give me, I want this. Then you become to scale. Once you become to scale, at this time, you will converge from the horse into the unicorn, because your product is demanded by everyone. I can look into the same, I can use the same terminology for the personal development. If I am the engineer, then how can I become the highly demanded engineer? Because this will probably make me a unicorn, because everybody wants to work with me. So I need to find my product and market fit, right? If this is DevOps, maybe this is data science, maybe this is something else that we don't know about, maybe. But once you will find and you excel in this, you and everyone will want you. You will eventually become the unicorn.
Yeah, thanks. Gundega, you ready to go next?
Yeah.
What's your advice?
So if we are going back to your actual question, and specifically about the small teams, 5 to 7 people or 5 to 9, the 3 steps. I would say that first, the team that works in a stable, taking care of the horse, right? They probably each have their own kind of unique view of the horse, depending on what exactly they do. There is this cartoon that goes around about how blind people are touching elephant and then describing what the elephant looks like. So first, the first step is to make sure that the team understands what the product is, or how the whole horse looks, so that if you ask the team, each member can describe currently what the horse looks like. And then you have to kind of set the vision on what you want to achieve. Well, it has to be more like it cleaner, it has to be sparkly, it has to grow a horn. And I'm pretty sure that unicorns also have wings and they can fly. or maybe some of them. So basically, we need to feed it in a way that it grows also wings, not only the horn. Okay. Once we have this common vision, we need to actually set some kind of metrics. How do we know when we have achieved? Okay, the horn, how big it has to be, what color do we want the unicorn? Do we want wings? Do we not want wings? Does it have a rainbow coming out of somewhere? And then, apologies. That is more to the DevSecOps field, but anyway. And once we have the metrics, then we actually have every day as we work, we have to check the horse grow a horn. Is it now a unicorn? Maybe we have to change the food because the coat is not changing the color in the right direction, right? So yeah, these things, and these are very, like base common things that we are talking about, vision, metrics, and measurement. But I think that is the way how you can kind of have this common movement from existing horse towards the unicorn.
Yeah, thanks. I just got a message from organizers that we do have a little surprise. The additional person on the screen, Dinker, hello. I understood that you got some technical difficulties and couldn't join, and later on I wasn't sure what's going on. I'm sorry for that.
No worries.
We also need to be aware of a time. We're moving to the finish line slowly, but quick intro from your side, and how would you answer this question? Let's try to be aware of a time. We still need to give some time to questions and answers. Everyone be ready to ask questions and answers in the chat. So Dinker,
Yeah, sure.
who are you? What do you do? And how do you what do you suggest?
Yeah, sure. No, thanks. Apologies for being late. So I'm based in Switzerland, unlike a lot of you in Nordics, but have a close connection to Nordics. I work pretty closely with Nordics clients. As you know, I'm from Cognizant, where of course I'm a technologist. And I was just listening to others' introductions, so probably I'll just follow suit. So I started my career on the development side. And yes, from day one, have been exposed to what is currently called DevOps. And in my time, ops also included changing batteries of the server. So it was not just hardware and software installation, but also changing a bit of hardware and installing switches, in addition to application development. So that's been a background from where I came into DevOps for about last 10 years. Pretty active on DevOps-oriented development, all the technology sides, also some of the processes and culture side. Given my role, I'm part of architecture and technology organization, so that includes both engineering and systems design. In terms of the question regarding unicorns and horses, I think at the end of it, you need horses to do the work done, right? Unicorns, we know, are still mythical animals, and they're still found only in stories. So while those are pretty good to grab the attention, to change people's mindset that you need to do things differently, at the end of it, you need to bring people back to the ground to deliver real work. So, and the other thing which is important, unicorn is not a real character. So what's important is to pick up some of these properties from unicorns, but not try to become one. I think that's quite important. And in some of my conversation in industry, 3 things which have caught attention as an engineer, as far as unicorns are concerned, they do 3 things very, very well, right? One, they are able to adapt to changes very quickly. They are able to scale very, very quickly to demands, also descale, scale down, scale up. And third, they are able to handle failures very, very quickly. I mean, they are born like, failure is part of life. So if you really want to become unicorn or behave like unicorns, I would rather say becoming a unicorn is probably not a good idea for horses. These are the 3 properties which you can start to do. I mean, each of this has an engineering element. Each of this has a cultural element. If I'm talking as an engineer, handling scale, handling failures, handling handling the parts around change, all 3 have technical practices that all of us have somehow mentioned, right? Being able to automate, being able to build resilient infrastructure, being able to take some of the properties of cloud, right? So open runtime platforms, all of those are technical practices, also some way we program. But then one of the biggest problems, at least because I come from enterprise services space, working with many enterprise customers who are proverbial horses, and that they want to become some kind of unicorns, is their challenges are not technology. They are pretty good with technology, running systems for last 50 years, 40 years. They know their technology very well. The problem is that, and this is an example I give from one of my favorite movies, Godzilla, and the subtitle of that says size does matter. And you may want to become unicorn, but if you are a Godzilla, you need to be careful how you turn. Otherwise, all you will do is fall very badly. So if you want to achieve big scale, if you want to achieve higher resiliency levels, if you want to achieve an agility, right, agility quotient, you need to start with some areas, not everything at a time. So mostly the way I've seen people trying to achieve some of the properties of unicorn is they pick one of these dimensions, improving that, whether it is agility, whether it is scale, whether it is resilience, show that, yes, now they're able to achieve that. It's more like working on different parts of your body in the gym, right? Improve one piece at a time. And then over a period of time, you have your body transformation. Something like that, trying to change an entire horse into a unicorn, and that to a mystical unicorn. That's good in dreams, good on PowerPoints, but reality is a little different.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, great, thanks. Dmitry, you're the last one, and we're also super short on time. You will need to be very focused on your 3 points.
Okay, can you remind me the 3 points?
Then don't worry. Let's just move to the questions if there is any. Everyone, please very quickly write a question, and most probably Dmitry will get it as a question so that he gets that chance to answer something what hasn't been asked like half an hour ago. I'm going to comment screen. We also are running out of time. It's your last chance, everyone, to ask a question. People are a bit shy. It's Nordics people. If you show name and surname, we're a bit hesitant. Anyone? Well, I'm not seeing the question. I know that the page is being refreshed. I know that at 4:55 there's basically a next topic starting. So thank you, everyone. It was great. It was an honor to talk with you, definitely. Thanks so much. And well, bye. And back to Cosman.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Uldi. Thank you, Uldi, and thank you all guys.